It's race 10 of the Hardline Midwest Powersource Cup series, and that means it's time to narrow down the field to 10 drivers to compete for the final Race Hardline Sim Racing Cup. And what better place to decide it than ISM Raceway, a 1-mile track located just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. This place is elbows out and known for its intense battles and the dogleg. It's not an easy track to drive, especially with the championship on the line, Finney. And this place is very, very tricky. Wide areas, Finney, and that dogleg on the backstretch out of turn 1 and turn 2 we're going to see in a moment. That is a tricky racetrack.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of drivers as they come out of turn number 2. They're going to dive down onto the back straightaway through that dogleg, use that as a passing opportunity. 200
feet wide. It is all sorts of pavement down there, and drivers are going to get up on the wheel and go through all different lines through that dogleg there, and you got to be careful, Finney, because that is really rough on the suspension. It can actually damage your car, get you some optional damage. You don't want that in the pits today, especially in the last regular season race of the season as we head into the chase in the next couple of weeks. But obviously, see how rough of a transition it is. Then we head off into turn number 3. Very, very flat. Not a lot of banking up here, and what that means, Finney, is to get those brakes locked up, you can drag that left front tire across the pavement, and that'll certainly reduce the longevity of those Goodyear tires. So don't slide those left front tires. And don't slide any of the tires, really. Then you got to get a nice, good line through turns 3 and 4. Maybe enter high and exit low and get a good run up back onto the front straightaway. But qualifying, completing here at ISM Raceway, Finney, and it looks like Daniel Roper in the 1 car is right back where he belongs.
Yeah, but he can't hold on for too long because there's a pretty good gap to the drivers behind. Adam in second. He's currently 69,000 for the second slower than Roper, and these guys still have about another attempt left in them to get another lap in.
There's Brad in the 19 Twitch Toyota, and actually he was streaming earlier. I bet you he is still streaming now in that number 19 car, so I don't actually know his Twitch username, but if you search his name on Twitch, I think he comes up. So give that a try and do a little multi-stream here tonight. But Finney and ISM Raceway, this place is not known for being the cleanest of racetracks in the sim racing world. In the real world, it's quite a calm racetrack normally, but in the iRacing realm, it can be quite a mess here sometimes.
Yeah, definitely can. We're going to see, we could potentially see that we got 16 cars on the grid tonight. I was saying 26 because I was looking at Chuck
Sweeting's entry in the number 26. Yeah. I believe he's in a Camaro. Indeed he is. You see him right there sitting on pit lane. Won't get a qualifying lap in here as it is just completed.
Yeah, so he'll be starting from the back of the grid, but we'll be trying to move up forward, as well as Anthony DeFrenchi and Cody Tabor both starting in the back.
And a lot of drivers we haven't seen in quite some time. You see Robert F. Kenny in the number 10 car. Dakota Ehrman in the 8. I believe he's actually a new entry to this series. Corey Blevins is upside down in turn 4, so that's 25 car is going to retire from the racetrack. Michael Finlayson in the 14 is back here again this week. Tyler Sifford, another new entry in a number 98 car here this week. Qualifying is complete, and unsurprisingly, Daniel Roper and Joshua Adams on that front row. So let's get ready to go racing here at ISM Raceway. And it's 125 laps around here tonight, 125 miles. And Finian, this is certainly a place that can eat your tires alive if you don't conserve it. You can drag your left fronts on entry to turn 3, and you can wear out your right front and right rear in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, really, it's going to be a matter of tire management, especially because if we're looking at the track here, actually, if we can bring up the track temp. Yeah, it's currently 89 degrees, and really that can only heat up from there. You can see the sun out on the track, so these tires are going to be cooking if these guys aren't careful enough.
See the field getting ready to go racing. They're on the grid down there on pit lane, and obviously this track was resurfaced a number of years ago, and with that brought the addition of that wide paved dogleg there on the back straightaway, and it's a great passing opportunity, especially at the start. So you're going to see quite a high level of aggression at the start. When is it too early to be making moves down there?
Really, I would say probably on lap 1. I think you gotta. It kind of depends on how the rest of the field starts to race. If you're already 3 wide in turn 1, you don't really want to make it 4 or 5 wide, because that's just going to really lead to chaos. But yeah, you really got to just judge on how well you start the race and going through 1 and 2, and then after that, judging whether to make a pass. But yeah, really, if you're able to, go for the pass.
And Shane Therian in the number 38 car back here again. I think the last time we saw him was way back. What track was that? Was that at Kentucky? I don't even know what track we were at the last time we saw that 38 car. It was a 1.5 mile, I believe.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It was a while ago. So a lot of drivers returning to the series late in the going here. Chuck Sweeting, another one of those drivers in that 26 that we mentioned before. Briar LaPrade, another driver that's been kind of here nor there. There's Thomas Bresci in the 24 car. Obviously, he's a staple of this series, and he's been quite successful lately. And Thomas Bresci is also an entry to the Spec MX5 Challenge Sim Racing series that is coming up in February. And he will be competing for the grand prize of getting to test a Spec MX5 Cup car at Circuit of the Americas down in Texas. So follow Thomas Bresci on there. That'll be on the Winding Road Magazine YouTube channel, and I just uploaded that first link today. It is not visible to the public yet, but it soon will be, and you can get that on your list of things to watch for February 27th at 8:30 p.m.
Also, a really close championship battle for the last spot in the chase, which is this is the last round of the regular season. Currently, Jared Matthew holds that spot, but 1 point behind him, Cody Taver, and then 2 points behind them, Liam Sheen. So it's a tough fight here between those three drivers.
On the front row, Daniel Roper and Joshua Adams, both those guys extremely talented. The SMS Solutions #1 car is going to be really hard to beat tonight. That's been really the case all season long. Any race that he's entered, Michael Finlayson, Tyler Sifford in row 2, and then there's Briar LaPrade there in row 3 alongside Thomas Bresci, and so on and so forth. Coming out of turn number 4, Finian, 125 miles, ready to go racing one last time in 2019 for the regular season. And I believe this is the last regular season race of Hardline, as they are ending their season forever and for good after this season. Green flag in the air here at Phoenix, and right away, Daniel Roper jumps out front.
Roper off to an early lead ahead of the rest of the field. Joshua Adams going to take second place away, and well, very tight off of turn 2.
See everyone taking that dog leg there, Finian, and you mentioned it'd be too early to be making moves there, but not so, it seems. The rest of these drivers already trying to take advantage of it. You see a couple drivers high in turns 3 and 4. Anthony DeFrenchi in the 44, not off to a fantastic start. He'll have to do a little bit of work to get up front. There's Briar LaPrade in the 19, down to the inside of Sifford on the front straight.
Yeah, both these guys are already making touch here. Sifford on the outside, but LaPrade to the inside. Ooh. And they're already almost throwing each other off of 2s. These guys fighting already on lap number 2.
And just up the road, battle for second. Michael Finlayson and Joshua Adams were side by side out of turn 2, and have since sorted themselves out and continue to try to chase down Daniel Roper. They cannot let him get away. We obviously know how challenging it is to get around that one car. Battle on the front straight, got one in the wall. That's the 10 car. That's Robert F. Kenny in the fence, and that's some pretty significant damage that right.
He's going to have to come down later and fix that. I wonder how long he'll be able to even last out there with the damage. You see him already going wide towards the wall, so I can't imagine the handling on that 10 Camry being good at the moment.
Already a big spread from first to last. It's already 15 seconds from Daniel Roper to Shane Therian, so a slow start for him. But up front, 3 drivers battling for the lead. Roper, Adams, Finlayson already nose to tail, and there's Bresci looking for a pass to the inside of the 98 of Tyler Sifford. Gone back already 1 spot as LaPrade took that spot away.
Yeah, a lot of the newer drivers up towards the front of the field doing very well. LaPrade returning, and Finlayson also returning both to the front of the field in the second and fourth.
Corey Levens in the number 25 car looking to the inside of Sifford, and there is Thomas Bresci just up the road. Both these guys look very racy here in the early going, and you see there's the crossover move from the 98 down to the inside of Bresci in turn 1. That's a really hard line to make stick.
Yeah, you see Bresci trying to pinch down the 98, trying to get the better run off the corner. Looks like Bresci should be able to clear him. We'll see how they go off into turn 3.
Sifford took a really low line there, but there's several different philosophies to take in turns 3 and 4, Finney, and obviously there's a large area of apron, and a lot of drivers like to hook that and kind of hook the car around on corner exit. Some like to enter real high and make a late apex out of it, but both methods seem to work pretty well. But which one do you prefer?
I prefer to enter it a lot higher than lower, because lower you're putting a lot more pressure on the tires, trying to get the car to rotate. You also have to enter lower into a corner. That's usually never a good thing on an oval.
I mentioned Shane Therian was pretty far behind. He had actually started from pit lane in that number 38 car, as he's already listed as having been to pit road, so he'll have a little ways to go. He'll definitely need a caution and get caught back up here. So far, everything's kind of sorted itself out a little bit. Levens and Cole Pagunia nose to tail right now, and Levens in 7th, Pagunia in 8th. And Robert Kenny in 11th. He's going to have to nurse that car to the first pit stop with that crinkled right front fender. There's Chuck Sweeting in the number 26 car.
Sweeting he joined in pretty late into the server. Didn't get a lot of practice. I think this is him trying to just figure out how this car is driving in these early laps. That's why we're seeing him far behind. Usually we aren't seeing them towards the front half of the field.
Yeah, and actually, remember the last time we were here for a hardline race? It was the end of last season. Remember, there was actually some drama on the back straightaway. Well, I don't know if it was with Sweden or it was a 20-something car. It was Ryan Hart's was one of the vehicles.
Yeah.
I don't remember the other one involved, but obviously there was some drama there, and there was some hurt feelings after that one. Obviously, Joshua Adams was one of those drivers, and he is currently in 3rd place in that 88 car, as looks like Sweeting's going to work his way around Kenny.
I think Sweeting's figured it's time to go. He's going to move up some position. Also, here's some guys ready to go. There's Levens, Sifford, and Bagunia fighting.
Ooh, some close quarters there with the 25 to 98 contact there.
Bumper.
Push from the 98. Obviously, some tempers rising early here, Finney. You don't want to make enemies at this racetrack. That's a good place to get some retaliation.
Yeah, so Sifford's going to push Levens up into the high line. He's going to work on by. Bagunia trying to do the same.
And Bagunia got a really good exit. He might try to get... Oh, he might try to shoot the gap here in the middle of the racetrack.
That's risky.
Oh, wow. And look, see the 98 slide right up in front of his nose and cleared himself there.
Yeah, slams the door shut, and Sifford's going to drive away in 6th at the moment. Bagunia's still trying to work over Levens.
And remember we didn't cover Richmond last week, but the weeks before at Kansas Speedway as well as Lucas Oil, there was a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of drivers that were really upset with each other. So I think some of those feelings have probably carried over to this week, and we're probably not done seeing drivers be a little bit upset. So keep an eye on those fenders. You already saw the 98 and the 25 have a little run in there, even though the 98 is a new entry to Hardline.
New entry, but showing he has some speed. Fell off earlier in the run, but looks like he's going to hold on to at least 6 for now.
Yeah, Bagunia just scraped the wall just a little bit out of turn 4. Not a whole lot of damage, but some sparks flying from the right side quarter panel of the 7 on corner exit.
Nothing changing up towards the front of the field. Daniel Roper still your leader. Finlayson in 2nd, Adams in 3rd. Both of those guys have kind of fallen off from the lead, though.
That front 5 really getting spread out for now, just kind of biding their time.
And actually, notably, Bressy's caught up to LaPrade, and he's trying to make quick work of him. Bressy really the only guy I can see moving, everyone else kind of falling back off of the one car.
Now, Bressy's gone up 1 spot so far in that 24, looking for another one here to the inside of Briar LaPrade. You see LaPrade kind of, he's doing what you suggested there, Finney, entering high and exiting low, and look at the run he gets down the straightaway that Bressy doesn't get. I found that turn 1 is really line sensitive, and if you don't get turned in, then you lose a lot of time. And it looks like LaPrade missed his apex just by a foot or 2, but that's all it takes to lose a lot of ground to the guy behind.
Yeah, 1 and 2 is a weird thing. Really, you kind of have to make sure you at least enter in low. Exit, you can kind of go high or low after, but you really want to make sure you're towards the bottom of that. Make sure you're on that yellow line entering 1, but you don't want to be below that line, because I've seen drivers in the past hook that and spin out, and no, Cody Tabor in the 2 hard lick.
Yeah, he's had that damage for a couple laps, I believe. He's going to pull it into the pits, and this has been not a storybook season for that Textron number 2 team, and he'll pull it behind the wall early here at Phoenix lap number 15. No caution, we stay green. Roper, Finlayson, Adams, LaPrade, Bressy, your top 5, but I think we're going to have a race on our hands here for 4th in a moment.
Yeah, definitely, it's been closing in. Also, they've been closing in to the 88 Joshua Adams, so potential 3-way fight for 3rd.
Riding on board here with Cole Bagunia, trying to get a run. He actually downshifted here, and that's a common thing we see at Pocono and at ISM Raceway, is the downshifting to 3rd gear to try to get some more torque coming out of the corner. And you see Bagunia was trying that in turn 1 and in turn 3, which that's not a typical move we see in turn 3. I think it's more common down at the other end of the racetrack.
Yeah, Bagunia got a good point for trying, at least doing something, trying to find a way around the 98 car, because I think he saw early that he can't get around by conventional means. He's got to be a little bit aggressive here.
And that is very tricky to do. I remember we raced in the Integrity Racing League ISM race here a little while ago, and I had issues downshifting, and I'm a road driver at heart, so if I had trouble shifting at an oval, it's not easy to do. You really have to perfectly hit that rev match, otherwise you find yourself in trouble. You see LaPrade has actually caught Joshua Adams. Adams has been off the pace about 1/10 and a half the last couple laps.
Yeah, and look how nice of a line LaPrade makes out of 2. He was stuck it way down low to the line. Got a good run on Adams trying to make the pass here in 3 and 4.
He's going to get it done, and ooh, look at Bressy slotted in on the bottom as well. He'll drive up alongside the 88. Will he have enough to get there on corner exit? He's certainly going to try, but the 88, oh, into the wall on the front straight, and Bressy gets wrecked! Hard crash on the front straight, cautions out.
Yeah, it was a hard lick on the nose. The entire nose gone from that 24 car.
Man, what a shame. He was an innocent victim there, but that's a huge impact for the 24. That'll effectively take him out of the race. Go back and take a look at it.
I think the way this started is really just textbook understeer from the 88. Just ended up getting to the wall and unfortunately got into the 24 Bressy, knocked him loose, and into the wall he went.
Look at the guys behind scattering. Wow, look at Blevins try to get around it. Riding on board, the number 24.
This is really a thing you don't know that you're going to understeer into the wall until it's too late. You can see Bressy pretty much had no indication that was going to happen, just got hit, and nothing he could do.
Also right on board the 25 car of Corey Blevins. He got one heck of a look at it. And again, we've always talked in the past about how tricky it is to avoid incidents when you have cars in front of you and you can't really see what's going on. And so we'll watch from Corey Blevins. Actually, we're up on top of the roof of this car, so don't let the perspective get to you. You can't see a whole lot. You see the 24, where's he going to be, where's he going to be, and wow, at the last second.
Yeah, he had Begunia and Sifford in front of him, so they would just try to slow down and then see where Bressy was going to end up, and did a great job avoiding that.
Well, field is down on pit lane here, Finian, so I think that's a right move early. A lot of tire wear here, and I think most drivers are going to come down pit lane. Liam Sheen has stayed on the racetrack. A little bit of rear-end damage to that car, but the rest of the field comes to pit lane.
I think that's Sheen trying to lead a lap, get some points in.
I believe he was actually, might have been a lap down already. He's only scored 14th right now.
Oh, yeah. He was? Oh, that's interesting. Because last time I checked, he was on the lead lap. But yeah, it looks like Sheen trying to get that lap back. But pit stop's again underway.
And I think Daniel Roper had a pretty good lead, and he's going to walk away with it easily on the exit of pit lane.
Finlayson going to come away in second. LaPrade in third. Begunia fourth. And Sifford in fifth.
Chuck Sweeting's going to gain a couple spots as well. Liam Sheen in the 96 car is taking his wave around and will come back around to chase the tail of the field here. And I believe he has the Arthritis Foundation on that car, a new paint scheme for him this week. And that car's got a little bit of arthritis, it looks like right now. A little bit of damage to really all corners of that race car. And if that wasn't from the stack up with Bressy wrecking, I imagine that might have had something to do with Cody Tabor's incident earlier.
Yeah, it could have been. So unfortunate for that 96 again. Him and Tabor actually still, both of them again, fighting for that final spot in the championship. With Jared Matthew, who's been having a pretty fine day in 10th.
And obviously Cody Tabor is going to end this race. Actually, Cody Tabor's back out on the racetrack here, Finney. Didn't see this. He's back out 5 laps down, but that car, if that makes it to the end of the race, I'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah, I think this is just him kind of hoping something happens to Jared Matthew or Liam Sheen, and that he can be able to one-up them on that. But really, that's the only thing that 2-car can really hope for at this point.
All right, so we should get the 1 to green either this lap or next lap. And we'll have completed about 25 laps of this race. So we're closing in on 100 laps to go and only about 45 minutes left in this race. Pretty short race here. We ran almost, I believe, 114, 115 laps at Kansas a few weeks ago. So this is a relatively short race considering that track is about a half a mile longer. And well, obviously short races bring up the intensity quite a bit. So as we get the 1 to green now, we're going to line them back up and go again. You see Cody Tabor is going to get a wave around here to get back towards the tail end of the field, but Daniel Roper going to choose the outside lane for the restart. What do you think about that decision?
Interesting choice there. I think honestly it's good to try that line. I think he's trying to plan on getting a better run off of turn 2, maybe pinching Finlayson down in 1. So we'll see how this plays out with the 1 on the outside and the 14 on the inside.
Still works their way through the dogleg. One interesting thing here, Finney, if we look from up above, look at half the racetrack in shadow, half the racetrack in sunlight. That changes the handling characteristics significantly. These Goodyear tires are extremely heat sensitive, and so that front straightaway might be a little bit slippery when they try to get the power down.
Yeah, that's really the thing in these Cup cars. You can really underestimate the power, and on some tracks, they can be very slippery, so you got to make sure you manage that. But the pace car is going to be in. These guys are going to get ready for the restart.
Coming back to the green flag, lap number 24, and Daniel Roper takes them back down to the green. We're back underway here at ISM Raceway. Briar LaPrade trying to follow Michael Finlayson through on the inside through turns 1 and 2. And Chuck Sweeting made up a couple spots on there. He's already up to P7, but we're going to be 3 wide on the back straightaway for a moment. Maybe 4 wide if you look from up above.
You see the 98 of Sifford to the inside of LaPrade. Looking at the inside of LaPrade, can't get it done. Currently he's got the 8 of Dakota Ehrman on the outside, and Sweeting also looks like he wants a piece of it.
Out of turn 4, everyone gets through that lap okay. A little bit of chaos there in the middle of the pack. There's Sweeting looking on the outside of Dakota.
Oh, big
gosh.
wreck with Adams involved. Or no, not Adams, 38.
Adams is in it, but Shane Terry and I believe Liam Sheen might have gotten a piece of that. Caution is back out. And I'm glad to see that the thing I fixed on our ticker fixed correctly. So,
oh, and Tabor smoking. I think that's going to be almost pretty much day over for him.
Yeah, I thought his day was over before, so the fact that he made it a couple more laps is really an impressive feat. But yeah, the 38 car all torn up in this one. Probably got the worst end of it. Let's go back and find out what happened here. And he might have gotten turned by the 27 car, but let's take a better look. The 27 car is a long ways back here.
Oh, he got into the back over to the 26 and Matthew. Trying to avoid that.
Yeah, not much. Ooh, geez, Liam Sheen came in there hot at the end. That was really off the back of Chuck Sweeting, but I can't blame Sweeting for any of that.
No, yeah, I think that 38 Terrian wasn't expecting him to brake at that point.
And he might have just jammed the brakes and then locked him up and spun around, and obviously nowhere Jared Matthew could go, and obviously it looked like the 88.
Yeah, that's actually right on board with the 88 because he had an interesting view of that. Ready to come onto the straightaway. Everything's pretty much normal here. 38 Tyrion spinning, and wow. Ooh, just a little bit, but that could have been a lot worse for Adams.
Yeah, he did a great job slowing that car down, and you see Tabor hit the wall right. Actually, let's go back and take a look at that. I didn't even see.
I wonder if he got involved with Matthews maybe after that, when they were both trying to avoid.
Oh, he actually might have gotten tagged by the 96 of Liam Sheen. But here he comes into this fray. And Liam Sheen comes in here and gets into him, and then Liam Sheen comes down the racetrack, tags Tabor, and Tabor just, I think he just turned it into the wall, frustrated with the contact there. But Tabor's night is officially over. That car probably not going to be drivable. He's still out on the racetrack smoking. And I'm sure there's some other drivers clamoring for him to get off the track, because that's going to clog up the windshields a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say Danica Patrick did something similar.
Yeah, actually at ISM Raceway at this place. And thankfully the fluid isn't modeled on the racetrack.
I wish. That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
I don't think the drivers would think it would be awesome, but it would look amazing.
Yeah, it would. Well, it'd be amazing when everyone takes the green flag, slipping and sliding like their bathroom floors all soaked up. But here he comes into pit lane, and that'll probably be the night over for the 2-car. You see the 96 of Liam Sheen coming into the pit road as well. And the funny thing is, Liam Sheen had restarted at the tail of the field and has got his way up to 9th on that restart before getting involved in that wreck.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to lose all that position. Yeah, trying to pit and fix some damage, as well as Cody Tabor and also Bressie fixing the damage to the nose of his car. I would say he's got the best looking car out of these 3.
Well, I do worry about that radiator, though. If it's effectively cooling that car with all the damage, it could be a slow process of slowly working in the damage, and those temps could be rising, and there's not really much you can do about that as a driver except get as much repaired as you can. So hopefully Bressie's car will remain drivable for the remainder of the event. Jared Matthew, let's take a look at his car. He might have gotten some pretty significant nose damage in that Gas Monkey Garage Chevrolet Camaro, and not too bad on that car.
Yeah, definitely not too bad. Again, really, all he's kind of eyeing on is just making sure he finishes ahead of the 2 and the 96 of Liam Sheen, and both of which he's doing really well. So as long as he just finishes the race with relatively minimum damage, you should be good.
1 to green here at ISM Raceway. We'll take the green flag on lap number 30. So 2 cautions within a quick succession after our initial one on lap number 22. And Daniel Roper retains the lead. He'll choose that high side again. So our top 3 have essentially been unchanged. Begunia and LaPrade have swapped lanes for this restart.
Yeah, it worked out for Roper on the first time, so I think it should work out for him again coming to this restart.
And the sun is actually beginning to set here, Finian, so we'll keep an eye on the track temps as well. Obviously, the lights may come on by the end of this race, and that can totally induce a different dynamic, as some drivers prefer the higher gripped-up conditions of the night, and some like it when it's slippery and hot. I prefer the latter. I am very, very slow in high-grip conditions, and that's why I'm kind of dreading the new Cup package in iRacing. But coming back to the green flag, lap number 30, the 1 car of Daniel Roper in control. Green flag flies again, and we're racing again at ISM Raceway.
Yeah, he caught Finlayson sleeping on the restart. Finlayson trying to defend from Brian LaPrade on the outside.
Tyler Sifford looking the inside of Begunia, and LaPrade did a great job getting rolling and actually maintained that 3rd spot even after having the outside lane But I guess it helps that the leader in front of him was in the same row, but now they're battling side by side for third with the 19 and the 7.
Yeah, we're going to try to make it work on the outside. Let's see as they head off into one. Looks like Bagunia might be able to do so if he can pinch LaPrade to the inside, and he's going to do exactly that and get the spot off of turn 2.
Keep an eye on Sifford here. He got a great run out of turn number 2. To the inside he goes. It's going to be 3 wide for a moment, but Brad gets cleared by the 7 on the outside lane, and here comes Sifford back to the inside to try to roll that middle. And the 25, of course, Bleeden's trying to set him up from behind.
Bleeden's trying to catch up there, and actually looks like he might get a run here on Sifford.
And to what extent here, Finney, we still have a long way to go. To what extent do you have to just kind of hang out and ride for a little while?
I would say, honestly, as soon as you can, really, once you kind of get settled in line, once these guys sort themselves out for the time being, kind of just start riding along. And if you're catching the guy ahead of you by a decent amount, try to make the pass. But there really isn't too much of a point of constantly trying to make a pass. Oh, Bagunia on the wall.
Ooh. We've seen that. I think all the drivers, you saw Bleevens and Sifford immediately bail out and head for the inside wall. The reason why they did that is they're probably aware of what happened with the 24 and the 88 earlier, so they're trying to immediately get themselves away from the car that's in the wall in case he bounces off. Now you see Sifford looking back to the inside of LaPrade in turn 3. And Bagunia and Bleevens close quarters there, almost a quarter panel contact between those two cars.
Yeah, Bleevens keeping it close there, but not enough. Bagunia's going to keep the position for now, but behind them, Joshua Adams looks like he's going to try to make a pass to Dakota Ehrman, and he will. Ehrman kind of struggling here in the early running.
Yeah, nice clean pass for the 88, getting his spots back after that early issue that he had with the 24 of Thomas Bresci. Bresci now running back in 13th. That car pretty significantly off the pace, about a 1.5 seconds off from where he probably should be if that car was undamaged. This battle for 4th continues to stay hot as Bagunia is tucked up right behind Sifford, and Bleevens is not too far behind with Adams closing. So this group from 4th through 7th is pretty tight here. Look at the amount that Bagunia closed on corner entry there.
Yeah, and really you were seeing different guys taking different lines. See Sifford below the yellow line, and everyone else really running pretty much on the line, but to the left of it, so they're keeping above it. But yeah, different philosophies, different driving strategies for a lot of these drivers.
See now, oh, you see the one car actually trying to kind of make a right turn. All the drivers that are in a battle taking that shortcut, and it actually is worth a little bit of time here, Finian. So without really the worry about mechanical failures, all you have to worry about is a little bit of body damage from taking that shortcut, and really it's even rare that you'd get that. So it is advantageous to drive down there, but guys like Daniel Roper would rather just make sure his fenders are clean and run the normal line.
Yeah, and really, that's really everyone's just kind of diving down there to make sure the guy behind him doesn't pass him. So it's really more of a deterrent than it is a passing opportunity for some of these drivers. See Bleevens trying to look to the inside of Bagunia.
Yeah, you see Bleevens slide up the racetrack on corner entry. That's because the line he had into turn 3 was, he entered on the low side, and we all know how tricky it is to get that car rotated. Here he goes to the inside of Bagunia now to pass for 5th spot, but again, you see him drift up the racetrack. It's so hard to maintain that line, and now it looks like Joshua Adams is going to take advantage of it on the outside lane.
Yeah, Bleevens had to check up there, so now Adams charging on the outside. He might have a good line if he can set up the pass here in turn 3 and 4, but remember what happened last time he was in the outside lane?
Yeah, and I think the 25 car was very aware of that, as he was the one that almost plowed in everybody.
Oh, wow, almost hooked the 25. Wow, that was playing with scissors right there.
What? I don't know what that means. There you go.
I was thinking of something sharp.
Man, is it preschool? What are we playing with scissors for? Yikes. Anyway, yeah, I think the 25 had a flashback moment there, seeing the 88 get real high. You saw some sparks fly off the right side quarter panel. And we're going to try this again. Man, this is a risky situation.
Indeed, I think Adams might be good this time by, but again, he's got to get a good enough run to clear the 25 car, but Bleeven's still keeping it in there on the inside.
And Dakota Ehrman looking on. He smells blood in the water here out of turn 2. Both these cars slowing each other down significantly, about a 1/10 of a second last time. And now the 8 car looks, he sees a gap in the middle, but that might be too early to try to shoot that one.
Yeah, that's going to be way too early to do that. Yeah, it looks like Adams is just going to ike ahead of the 25, and he's going to get the pass done. Now, does Ehrman do anything?
He's got that red Toyota looking pretty strong, but nowhere to get that move done just yet, so he'll have to tuck back in line and try again later. Meanwhile, Daniel Roper out to a 1-second lead. He's just been checking out so far, so no updates out front.
Actually, one guy I want to check up on is the 26 Chuck Sweeting, why he's in 10th place.
I do believe he was kind of involved in that last wreck, so he might have spent some time in pit road repairing some damage.
Yeah, but what I'm curious about is why he's 3 seconds behind the field. I kind of wonder if he had maybe a bit of a loop or something. He does have a bit of rear end damage. I'm not sure if that's recent or from that wreck earlier. So
I think it was from that earlier wreck. So I think his lap times are pretty consistent. It is weird that he's so far behind the field, but nothing else to report on the 26 car other than he's struggling right now. We talked about Daniel Roper last time by was 3/10 quicker. Just the pace that this guy has late in the run is just second to none. Out up front now by 1.6, now nearly 1.7 seconds as he rounds the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, we talked about Daniel Roper pretty much being in a class of his own this season. We have seen in, I think, almost all of our Cup Series, we've seen that one driver that just absolutely dominates the season. In Fuel was Greg Evans. In VRL, it's Connor Horn. We pretty much found the equivalent for this series, and that's Daniel Roper in the one car.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Finian. There is a couple, while this race is going on and under a green flag run, there's a couple new leagues that are going to be important to pay attention to. The Fuel, actually, yes, I was about to say the rig share. The Fuel Host Venom Cup Series will be beginning in a couple weeks. I believe it's February 12th, I believe is the first race for that. You can double check that for me, Finian, while we're rolling here. But obviously, it is the 12th. Okay, so this league is shutting down at the end of this season, and all the drivers from here will be transferring on over to the Fuel Host Venom Cup Series on Tuesday nights, as you see this battle going on for 5th place right now. Whoa, look at this battle on the back straight. Believe it's all the way down to the wall on the inside lane.
Yeah, and these guys, you see Adams running Bleeman's below the line, keeping down, and you see Bleeman's trying to get back up there ahead of Ehrman.
Let's take another look at that. That was way down there, Vinny. I thought they were going to head all the way to the wall.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about using it as a deter, and there you see Adams trying to pinch Bleeman's down and keep him down there off the oval. You see Bleeman's backing out of it, taking it low, and yeah, just couldn't get anything out of the car.
Oh, look at this, Vinny. Holy cow, all cars all over the place. There's Robert Kenny back in this mix as well. There's, looks like Adams, Bleevens, Begunia, and Ehrman all fighting now for what will eventually be 5th place. This is a gaggle of race cars here, but Roper out front, 2.7 seconds as we watch this battle for 5th.
He's checked out of the field, but yeah, this big battle going on for position here between Ehrman, Begunia, Bleevens. At the moment, even Robert F. Kenny in the back trying to join this fight.
And go to Ehrman. Remember him from over at the Scars side of things. And Ehrman was quite fast, and this week, I mean, obviously this is his first start in this series, so I can't really assess too much, but he's had a pretty good run. But I think with a couple cautions and getting some fresh tires on, he might have a little bit of a better time later in this event once he gets more comfortable with this car.
Kenny currently looking to the outside of Ehrman. Don't think he's going to be able to get it done, but Bleevens to the inside of Adams.
Well, you've seen this play out before already. Uh-oh, we got one in the wall. That's Kenny again. He smoked it off of turn 4. And he's got some right front damage from, I believe it was lap 2 contact with the fence.
Oh, Bleevens off, and he's spinning. He's going to spin.
Oh, right across the racetrack. Caution's out, and woo, we'll pull it to a stop here in the middle of the dog leg. Oh, careful. Pull down the racetrack. All nice and clean.
Yeah, he was lucky that there was a gap in traffic there. Actually, I think that's probably why he tried to spin it back up. I think he figured he had more room if he went back up the track and saw a gap in traffic and did that. So great job saving the car.
So Corey Bleevens loops it, and we saw a pretty good angle, but we'll take you back and maybe ride on board with the 25. And this is so frustrating as a driver when you have that understeer that we've been talking about. If you miss that line, you see him, he's just out of the groove, and he's getting the arrow shadow of the 88, comes off at turn 2, smokes that wall, spins down, and just nothing else he could do to hold on to that car. Wow, that could have been really, really bad, and you're sitting prone in the middle of the racetrack. It's a horrible, horrible place to be with cars coming around you.
Yeah, luckily there is that gigantic dog leg that these guys can use to avoid stuff like that, so he was fortunate for that. But pit stop's back underway, and I can imagine we're going to see guys coming down at almost every opportunity we can. I think these guys are fighting quite the understeer here later on in the run with the tires wearing off. Well,
that was about a 20-lap run, so we'll pit for tires and fuel and try it again after Daniel Roper has led every lap so far. Briar LaPrade has worked his way into second here, Finian, in that number 19 car.
Yeah, interesting there. So we'll see if he can maintain that back when they come out of the pits. you see the jacks up. And actually, I'm curious, do we see anyone dare to take 2 tires?
And
as I say that, there comes the 8 car out of the pits.
I don't know if I'm really on board with that one there, Finney. And I think you're going to want 4 tires. Actually,
wait, did he miss his stall?
Dearman didn't even stop.
He missed his stall.
So that explains that.
This one I thought someone was actually following.
I don't think that's a good strategy, though, so I'm kind of on board with taking 4 tires and fuel. I really don't see the gain in that. How does our streaming settings look here, Finn? We're trying some new settings here on SimTV. Looks pretty darn good, I would say, doesn't it? And we're upping the bit rate to try to bring higher quality video. So
this is actually double what we've been using.
Yeah, by quite a bit, and it does look really good, at least on mobile, which is what Finian's got. I'm going to take a look at this real quick.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Wow, that is beautiful. Okay, well, the question is,
we're using.
Can my home internet sustain that is the question. It should be able to. Anyway, as I was talking about upcoming stuff here on SimTV, not right now, but in the next couple weeks, our streaming schedule increases significantly. And in March, we bring on the 3-Wide Truck Series again, as well as the 3-Wide Cup Series with us on Monday night. So we'll be doing every single 3-Wide Racing League race. This year will be on SimTV. That's over 60 events this year. Obviously, the Fuel Host Venom Cup Series on Tuesday nights, as we mentioned before. Wednesdays will be the WDCR SCCA folks from the Washington, D.C. region SCCA. They'll be racing Kia's Mustangs and MX-5s. That'll be on Wednesday nights. And when they're not racing, it'll be the Spec MX-5 Challenge over on Winding Road Magazine's YouTube channel. Thursday nights, there'll be a mix between Scars Ferrari Challenge and Fuel IndyCar Series racing. Friday night is kind of to be decided at the moment. There's not really anybody that's slotted in for that spot. Some Virtual Racing League Xfinity Series races.
Nothing definitive. There is potentially Sports Car Series,
which I'm hoping that happens because I'm really looking forward to that. And then Saturday is going to be Outsiders Racing League, which is essentially Virtual Racing League rebranded, and they'll be racing on Saturday nights. They have an iRating cap of 5,000, so I believe Connor Horn is getting booted.
Actually, he's below that, I believe.
Well, he might not be for too much longer with the talent level he's got. What else? I think that covers about the week there, doesn't it? But there are going to be some one-off events here and there. But again, the biggest news is the Spec MX-5 Series racing on Winding Road Magazine's YouTube channel. 500,000 subscribers. And of course, that link for the first round at Virginia International Raceway on February 27th will be available the next couple of days. Anyway, we're about ready to go back racing here, and Roper has led every lap so far, and I really don't see that changing.
No, I don't see it changing either. I don't think honestly most of the guys in the field see it changing. Actually, notably, Finlayson has a severe amount of right front damage to his car.
Didn't see where that came from.
Yeah, I just was thinking that down, but green flag is back in the air. Roper's going to lead him down. Actually wondering now, can that 14 hold on for much longer?
You know, I think that 14 might have actually hit the wall right before the caution came out, because I noticed that Briar LaPrade was actually in second place when the caution came out.
And Sifford and Finlayson both almost made contact. Oh, Kenny into the wall. He's going to go. He's going to take the rest of the dogleg. He's going to save it. So that was dangerous there. But back up to the front, they're still battling for second. Sifford and Finlayson. Finlayson still trying to hold on. And it looks like Sifford's going to take away second place.
Tyler Sifford in the 98 up to P number 2. Started back and forth, so he's up 2 spots so far. Nice and calm night. Hasn't really... There was a little bit of contact earlier, I believe, with the 25 of Bleevins. But other than that, it's been a very clean, calm night for that 98 car. You see Michael Finlayson, Briar LaPrade, Joshua Adams rounding out your top 5. If you're wondering where Thomas Bresci is after that contact with Adams early in the race, he's back in 12th. Still pretty far off the pace with that damaged car. It was Briar LaPrade back down to the inside of Finlayson. Couldn't quite make the pass. He'll slot back in line.
And again, Finlayson still trying to hold on to damage car. You can already see him a lane higher than a lot of these other guys, and LaPrade already taking that to his advantage.
Down to the inside, cutting the dogleg, gets alongside. Now, can he have the overlap heading into turn 3? He does. They're going to be door to door in turn 3. LaPrade slides up the racetrack.
Oh boy, almost making contact, but still away from each other. Finlayson still holding on for dear life.
And not quite clear, and LaPrade's going to have the inside line again, but I think he might be able to rock this outside lane here as the race goes on. LaPrade going to have to settle for 4th right now.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to cut the dogleg again, but can't get to the inside of Finlayson, so the 14's going to hold on to 3rd.
Ooh, Finlayson got real loose heading into turn 3 and held on to it. But really, it's Roper than everybody else, and that's been the case so far tonight, lap number 57.
And actually behind them for 5th place, Sweeting back up towards the top, so not sure what happened to him on that first one, but here he is back in 6th place behind Joshua Adams in 5th, so they're both fighting for position.
You see a couple feet that he gained on the 88 car by chopping that dog leg a little bit shorter. Closes right in on the rear of the 88 and maybe looking to the outside and corner exit.
Potentially, but gained a lot of time by just letting the car roll. So Sweeting's starting to come into his own, work towards the front of the field.
And it didn't take him too long. Remember, he was way at the back of the field. Actually, where did he start? He started back in 14th. Yeah. That was almost dead last. 2 spots from the rear. Has worked his way up into nearly the top 5. So we'll keep an eye on this 26 car. Going to be very competitive by the end of the race. Meanwhile, speaking of competitive, we've got a battle for second continuing here between Sifford and Finlayson.
Does Finlayson will still have enough car to fight with Sifford? I don't know. That damage does look pretty severe to the right front. It's exposed to the air. So I can't imagine that car's got a lot of grip aerodynamically.
Quite a bit of aerodynamic drag on the front of that 14 car, but he's making it work, and he's tucked in behind that 98 car, so it's probably not hurting him too much. And honestly, this track isn't a whole lot of an aero racetrack. Obviously, it's not helpful to have damage on the right front, but it's better here than at Kansas from a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so Finlayson's still trying to work on it. I mean, he's doing a fantastic job of keeping that car in third. He only lost position to Sifford, who he's maintained right behind him. See LaPrade cutting the dog league the most out of anyone trying to make a pass.
He couldn't quite get the overlap he needed and had to take that. That's really the problem with the dog leg here, Finian, is you can chop that all off. The problem is you get to turn 3 and you're totally offline, and it becomes really difficult to make that corner.
Yeah.
There's Chuck Sweeting to the inside of Adams down in turn number 1, trying to finally make this pass and crack inside the top 5 for the first time tonight. And here he goes again. He's going to use that dog leg to try to get across, and he'll be alongside the quarter panel, but I think that 88 is going to be able to roll that outside lane here through turns 3 and 4.
He's going to try, but again, he's been up there before. Looks like he's going to be able to keep a tight line to the inside, trying to pinch Chuck Sweeting down, but Sweeting's got a good line as they head off into NASCAR turn 1.
Yeah, Sweeting really held his own through there, and I was actually impressed. I thought the 88 would drive off into the sunset on corner exit, but not so. We'll try this again. You see now just inching forward. Now they're nose to nose. Now the 26 has a nose ahead. And off into turn 3. Oh, the 88's going to drive in really deep, and we'll see who gets the move done.
So
the
you see Sweeting power up mid-corner, trying to get ahead of the 88. Whoa. Can't quite get it done.
What a move by Chuck Sweeting. Just powered up and just bullied his way through. He's up in 5th now, but not quite clear. And now he is. Put the 26 up to 5th.
Yeah, and Adams can't hold off for long. He's got the 125 car behind him, as well as Begunia also. After we saw get into the wall a little bit, he's back on form. Going a slow car to the inside. That's Liam Sheen in the 96, letting the field by.
Yep, and Shane Tierney is pulled off the racetrack. He's now 2 laps down and will continue to fall down. We didn't see what happened to him, but didn't look like it was super dramatic, so we won't pull away from the live action to go watch.
Yeah, also Anthony DeFrenchi also 3 laps down. Not sure what happened to him.
He's just got some damage and might have just tried to fix it, because he spent a long time on pit lane. So that 44 car trying to repair some crash damage again, but now battle for third. Now Finlayson, look at LaPrade all the way up the racetrack. That's an interesting line in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think that's just him kind of experimenting right now. I think he knows that he's kind of stuck in behind the 14 and the 98, so just trying to find some different lines. He's got a decent gap to 5th place, so he's just kind of trying to experiment, and honestly it's better to experiment now but then later in the race.
Look at Brian LaPrade, that purple car way up the road, trying to get to the inside of Finlayson again, and wasn't able to do it. Riding on board now with Cole Begunia in 8th place. He's trying to get an attack mounted on the 25 of 40 Bleevens and the 88 of Adams.
Looks like Bleevens is just leaving just enough of a gap that Begunia tried to look in. I wasn't able to get the pass one there, but ahead I see a purple car all the way towards the white wall.
Whoa!
Making a pass.
Holy cow. He chucked it in there, and he's going to drift way up to the middle of the racetrack to see DeFrenchi going another lap down. Caution flies again. Robert Kenny on the back straight. Sideways.
Ooh, and that, yeah, he looks like you got a decent amount of, he's got more right front damage than he had before.
Yeah, he's just had a pretty miserable night in that 10 car, and this is not the first time, and might not be the last time that he's in the fence tonight.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be, if we take a look back at it, it's going to be probably a spin off of turn 2.
Yeah, he's gotten the wall. Very similar to what happened earlier.
And almost looked like he had it saved, but yeah, just couldn't hold on to it.
Who was the driver that did this a little while ago? I'm trying to remember what car it was. Who was that?
It's really bad.
My goodness.
No.
I don't remember who did that. Who did it? Who caused the last yellow? If anybody's watching in the chat, who caused that second yellow there on the back straight?
Was it Terrier? No.
I don't remember. Man, we're like Dory right now. This is not a good look for us. Yeah, go search it, Finian. It's your job. Man. Very similar to a wreck that has happened earlier tonight that we literally can't remember, even though it only happened probably 20 minutes ago. Field back down in pit lane while Finian goes and finds that. We'll watch the pits. And take a look at our caution information tonight. 4 cautions so far for a total of 14 laps and 0 lead changes. That number 1 car, Daniel Roper, been out front the majority of the race. Joshua Adams might have pulled a strategy call here, Finian. It looks like, yeah, 2-tire stop for that 88, the only car to do so. I'm not totally on board with that. I think the 1 car will have the lead back by the end of the lap, but it was certainly worth a try, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely worth a try. I mean, again, now is better time than any to do something, so... And I think Adams, honestly, he might have the pace here to actually make this work. Potentially not with the 1, but might be able to hold some of the other drivers behind him, so we'll see how this works. And also, I'm actually curious of where this 88 picks to start, because we've seen Roper start on the outside making it work, but will Adams do the same?
I think he would, because I think he probably was paying attention to what the 1 car wanted and is going to try to do everything but give him that line. I think that would be the smart move to make.
Yeah, it was Blevins up more. I brought up that
last Blevins! Of course it was Blevins. I mean, not of course. I don't mean. I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying it was the one guy I didn't look at in the ticker before when I was trying to figure out who it was. So yeah, so Corey Blevins was the car that Robert Kenny basically mirrored. But I think Robert Kenny is hoping to mirror Corey Blevins' current running spot, as Blevins is sitting in 8th and a pretty good recovery after that incident earlier in the night. And pull up the caution information again. 4 cautions, 14 laps, and finally a lead change. The first one we've had tonight as Joshua Adams wrestles the lead away via caution and lack of tires, which I don't know how long that's going to last, but certainly worth a try as we get the 1 to green signal from the pace car. Lights are off.
Yeah, and again, this has got some uncharted territory. We haven't really seen the lead without Adams. And actually, speaking of Adams, he's going to be taking the inside line.
Interesting move here. I think what he might be planning here is to defend from the dogleg pass. I think is probably what he's going to do.
Probably. So I think Adams playing it a little bit more defensively here.
See the sun really beginning to set. We are past halfway. Been past halfway for a couple laps now. And so I do expect that sun to get pretty low in the sky. Not quite sure if we'll see the lights come on, but it'll get awful close. And that sun will drop below the horizon, at least somewhat near it. So coming out of turn 4, the pace car will pull back into the pits. Joshua Adams will take back over the lead from Daniel Roper, and we'll try this again. And that 88 car in control on the restart in the inside lane, and we're green flag again here at Phoenix.
You see Adams with a pretty solid start. He's going to try to clear Roper into turn 1. Roper going to try to work him on the outside.
Yeah, it's not going to last very long. Roper gets an incredible run, drives right around the outside of the 88. And I think Adams is going to try to defend, but the 1 car just clears him easily out of turn number 2.
Yeah, those are the fresher tires. Roper able to hook the outside better. And now Adams is going to try to hold on for dear life as he's got the 98 and the 14 right behind him.
Yeah, I think he's going to get eaten alive here on this restart, Finian. I don't know if that was really the strategy call to make, but I think he needed to try something. It hasn't been a super successful race so far for the 88, so just trying to throw caution to the wind and give a strategy call a try. And now Finlayson, the 14, looks to the inside and going to bring with him the 98 and the 19 of LaPrade. Those two have been all over each other the last couple laps.
Yeah, I think they're far from being done. LaPrade trying to look to the outside of Sifford. And he's going to try to make the pass work. It's going to be tough here. Almost gets into the wall, but is able to drag race him down into turn 1.
Way along that outside lane. Not quite the grip out there to support that yet, but he's going to try to get the run on the back straightaway and make a run. But not, he's going to stay up high and try to roll that outside lane. I like the move, though, to try to conserve those tires a little bit. As this race has gone on, it's slightly gotten greener and greener, and so the opportunities to change tires become less and less and less.
Ooh, a little bit of a tap to the 88 Sifford gives him. So Sifford looking like he's hungry, not waiting for Joshua Adams, so he's going to try to make the passing opportunity when he can. And you can see how close it is between these guys.
Yeah, not a whole lot of rubbing room there if you get loose or anything. Down to the inside. Does anyone follow? No, they're going to look to the outside lane now. Oh, he's to the inside of the 88 car. He'll get alongside and going to be door to door through turns 3 and 4. Whoa, contact, and the 88's going to spin on the front straight. Does he hang on to it? No, he spins right in front of the field. Chuck Sweeting gets caught up. Dakota Ehrman, the 27 and the 10 of Robert Kenny, all torn up in this one here at Phoenix. And just carnage on the front straightaway. Jared Matthews spun around and big damage to the nose of that 27 car. Chuck Sweeting all torn up. He'll retire that car. Robert Kenny all wrecked out. And just like that, I mean, some of these guys were having pretty good days, and that car is all torn up. Dakota Ehrman in the 8 Toyota had been kind of out of everyone's way and gets torn up really needlessly there as the 98 and the 88 get together out of turn number 4. Let's go back and take a look at it. Might be better to look from up above here.
Yeah, it looked like the 80 of Adams was trying to pinch down Sifford, but Sifford was trying to push it off of 4, and they collided in a spin in front of the field, and not really many places for a lot of people to go. Ehrman getting a good piece of that, so does Jared Matthew.
I think Jared Matthew was trying to shoot that gap there, and it just closed up. I think he went with the method of just trying to chuck it through there instead of just stopping. And I think that ended up with a lot more damage to that 27 than needed to happen. But I can't totally place that on the 98 there, Finney. And I think the 88 held him down pretty tight. Yeah. And there is a natural drift up the racetrack that the inside car should get to run. I mean, it's almost impossible to hold that car down as far as he was. So I think he was doing a good job. I just think that he maybe should have been given a little bit more room. But obviously, I mean, if there's got to place fault, he did come up the racetrack. But again, that's kind of the natural thing. Yeah. And I think you got to place that a little bit more on the 88 in that situation.
Yeah, I think Adams could have definitely given him a lot more room. I think Sifford was just trying to make the line work. But yeah, just these guys getting involved behind. Matthew almost made it through there, but Adams just came in front of him again, and that ended Matthews' run pretty much. Bresci also coming through the frame.
And so much for the two-tire strategy for the 88. Ehrman did his best to get stopped.
Yeah,
see, the difference is the difference in damage is quite visible at the speed that they entered the frame, but Ehrman gets significantly less damage than the 27, but yeah, not a whole lot that anybody could do. I mean, I think Ehrman stopped about as much as a driver could stop and still ended up getting torn up. Not quite as bad as the 27, but I digress. Torn up here at lap number 78. No pit stops from the front runners on this caution. You see the sun has dipped below the grandstands here, so the track is now covered in shadow. We'll look from up above, and you can see that the sun has begun to set here in Avondale, Arizona. We'll take another quick look at our track temperatures. Down about 7 or 8 degrees from the beginning of the race, so the track is gripping up. And Chuck Sweeting has officially retired that car.
And that was a shame, too, because he was having a pretty decent run all night long. And his night's unfortunately going to end up short. Liam Sheen, I believe, down on pit road fixing damage, as well as Ehrman.
Ehrman, he should be okay. That car is torn up and it's going to have some radiator damage, but he should be able to make it to the end of the race as long as he doesn't go too hard with it. There could be some cooling issues because the front end is all still, it's not exposed to the air. It's still kind of caught behind all that damage. That could cause some temperature problems, but he'll give it a shot. Liam Sheen, on the other hand, that car it's damaged, but it's not quite to the extent that some of the other cars are. I mean, it's got dents in every corner, but shouldn't be anything catastrophic for the 96. All right, well, this is interesting here, Finney. And Robert Kenny up to the lead in the 10 car and a 2-tire stop. Actually, those guys did come down pit lane, I believe. Yeah, they did. So the field had come down pit lane. Robert Kenny now the leader with a 2-tire stop. I don't know about this one. I mean, it didn't work last time. I just don't think anyone's got anything for Roper. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I think these guys are just kind of throwing stuff at the wind at this point. And I mean, more power to them because that one car is going to be hard to beat. And if you're going to try to beat them on somewhere, it's going to be trying to beat them on tire strategy. So we'll see if Robert Kenny now has a better chance. Yeah, he's going to really, I think the key is going to be he has to nail this restart.
And it immediately takes
nails
off.
A restart. So,
well, I mean, you're allowed to go whenever you want as soon as the pace car is down to pit lane. And he took advantage of it, clears the one car down into turn 1.
And I think that's probably what Adams didn't do right. Is the thing that he let that one car get alongside of him, and Roper's pretty much able to bully himself around.
Oh well,
here
I
goes
don't know.
Roper to the inside though. Kenny is he going to try to pinch? 3 and 4. Let's see what he does.
I think he's just going to let the one car run the bottom, but I think the grip level is going to be apparent here as the one car is going to squeeze ahead and retake that lead. He gets clear, and Kenny's going to get back to second immediately. Back to lead for the one car. Just unstoppable here tonight.
See what Kenny does if he's able to hold off Finlayson behind, but there you see Sifford getting in front of LaPrade. A lot of battling going on.
Where is LaPrade? Wow, look at LaPrade.
He was out of frame.
Down. He was in another zip code down there, running his own line. You see Blevins all the way up the racetrack doing his thing up here.
That's an interesting line.
Well, it's a line that you and I like to run, so it's certainly high in, low out. A lot of blocking going up for at least defensive driving. Michael Finlayson running the inside groove on the front straight.
Yeah, you see Finlayson and Bagunia getting around the tent of Robert Kenny.
Yeah, I really don't think the tire strategy is worth doing. And Roper is now pulling away. 0.6 of a second. And battle for third now between Bagunia and LaPrade heating up. I think LaPrade's got a really quick car. If he can get some of the track position, I think he might be a contender at least in the podium.
Here's LaPrade with a run. He looks to the inside as they head off into turn 3. And Bagunia's gonna, LaPrade's gonna have a nose on the inside of Bagunia. Let's see what he can do.
It's really interesting watching from that camera up on top of the grandstands how they're throttling up mid-corner to try to make that move work. And he does, up to P4 for the 19 car, but it's just so funny to watch the car lurch forward and then stop as the momentum gets cut off.
Yeah, and definitely you got it. These guys be the initial run. And I mean, really, this is the best opportunity to do that, is to be aggressive now while the tires are fresh, to make your passes now.
40 laps ago here at ISM Raceway, Daniel Roper has led the majority of them, now up about 0.8 of a second on Michael Finlayson. Prior to LaPrade chasing down that 14 car, though I think this Twitch car has a lot more pace in it than we've seen so far tonight.
Yeah, I think we're really starting to see him come into his own. I think also probably with the track drifting up, I think this is definitely helping him out.
He's got quite the colorful roll bar paint scheme here.
That's a lot of purple.
Yes, indeed it is. Now, he hooks the apron a little bit there on exit. Look at the speed he gets, though. It was a great move by the 19 car, closing in for second. Remember, the 14 car has right front damage, too.
Yeah, we're seeing, wow, right on the yellow line. LaPrade is woken up or something. He is on a tear right now, getting to the inside of Finlayson.
Wow, caution out. We got one wrecked. Robert Kenny on the exit of turn 2.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Is anyone else involved?
Doesn't look like it. Single car incident. Oh, that's going to be terminal for the 10 car. And this is not the first time he's had an incident tonight. He's had several. Let's take a look at it. And outside of the 98 car, ooh, wow, that was a, oh, he got actually rear-ended from the 25. Oh my gosh, that was a hard lick into the fence. He got some help from Blevins there, but he was so slow, I don't know if Blevins had enough time to back out of the throttle.
So they come off the corner, Kenny in the wall, yeah, complete. Blevins really couldn't do anything. And unfortunately, Kennedy got turned around and into the wall he went, and that's going to be day over for him. And I think really that's just, you just do not have enough tires really to get the car to rotate probably as much as he would have thought.
So we've seen both drivers that have taken 2 tires suffer this fate within about 5 laps. I think, yeah, I see there's an impact there. I really don't think, and I bet you someone will try it again. Don't take 4 tires. It's worth it. I think you need to have those 4 tires if you want to be competitive late in the going here. And look, everyone back down on pit lane again here in lap 89. And this, I mean, we're well within the fuel window to the end of the race here, about 35 laps to go.
Yeah, I think these guys just making sure they got enough, and really just more trying to make sure they take some tires. And oh, Adams with a huge amount of nose damage to his car. Where did he get that from?
Well, from the last wreck when he got put in the fence.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was in a big one earlier. That's where he got the damage from. Roper pulls off pit lane, and I don't think anyone's going to try the 2-tire stop this time as we close in on 35 to go. Actually, Roper's got some right side damage on that car. A little scrape.
Yeah, might have been probably with the might have flirted with the wall just a little bit tonight.
I think everyone's for. Let's do the onboard camera swap all the way down through the field and take a look at this the right front hood flap. You see that? You can see the black carbon fiber underneath. Let's jump through all the way through the field here now and take a look at who doesn't have that, and we'll award them 5 iRacing credits if they don't have it. I'm kind of kidding, but we'll see. The 14 car, yep, he's got it. Cole Magunia, Briar LaPre.
No, he's got some. That's crinkled.
Okay, yeah, it's not the hood flap, but it's crinkled. Tyler Sifford, actually, he's in pretty good shape, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he does have some door damage, so he has been in the fence. How about Dakota Ehrman? He's all torn up. Corey Blevins, yep. Liam Sheen, definitely. Thomas Pressey, yep. Joshua Adams, yes. Robert Kenny, yep. Anthony DeFrenchie, yes. Jared Matthew, yep. And Cody Tabor, the only other guy I could grab, yes. So everyone has been in the literally everyone has been in some kind of contact at some point tonight. And I remember at the beginning of the broadcast, I said, hey, this track is pretty elbows out is the way I described it. And so far, we've had quite a few jabs thrown here at ISM Raceway. 35 to go officially. We'll get the restart with 34 to go here at Phoenix.
Shout out to Brandon Kreutz. Wasn't able to make it tonight. He said he had a really bad headache, wasn't able to drive, and that this was his favorite track. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend.
And yeah, Chuck Sweeting saying raising your blood pressure probably wouldn't help. No, I think there's a lot of people that are about ready to burst an artery or a vein or something right now with the way that they've been driving each other. So
and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, remember the last time we were here at Hardline, there were some hard feelings as drivers left the racetrack, and I don't expect that to change one season later. Especially with this being the last season of the Race Hardline Sim Racing League, everyone kind of concentrating their efforts on the Fuel Racing League starting in a couple weeks. Yeah, I think there's going to be some pretty hard racing at the end of the season, and typically this track in sim racing quite messy as it has been tonight. As we come back to the green flag, and Daniel Roper and Michael Finlayson, familiar front row, they're going to try again. Green flag back in the air, 34 laps to go.
Yeah, Roper off with a fantastic start as I head off into turn 1. Finlayson trying to get to the inside of LaPrade.
Whoa!
Yeah, remember these two battling before the caution came out. Finlayson loose, LaPrade trying to take it on the outside.
Look at this chaotic mess down the back straightaway here.
And Siffer to the inside of Begunia trying to take away 4th place.
Look at LaPrade and Begunia way in the outside group trying to get that run off the corner. Oh, look at the 98 and the 8 car all together. The Begunia gets in the fence just a little bit. Sparks flying as they make their way onto lap number 93.
Siffer trying to get to the inside of Begunia, but Begunia is not giving up at all. He's trying to rope it around the outside of the 98 as they head off to the back straightaway.
And Roper, this is all happening in his mirror. You see a shift there for the 1 car.
He's pretty much just going to drive away from everyone else from here on out.
Oh, we see a couple of shuffles back there. The 8 car jumps out of line, presumably to miss one of the cars that bounced off the fence out of turn 4. And Begunia and Sifford still side by side. Sifford's been in the middle of a lot of battles tonight. Probably getting tired up there. Through turns 3 and 4, Roper already out to a half-second lead here as we come now to 21 laps to go. That's not accurate. 31 laps to go. Yeah, 31 laps to go. 25 laps. What? Can I do math? Can I do math at all? 30. This is not looking good for me. Oh,
it's 31 laps to go.
Anyway, all I'm good at doing is commentating, and I can tell that there's some cars on the racetrack going in circles right now, and they're very close together. So I'm going to focus my efforts on that and stop calculating things in my brain, because obviously it's not working very well. Begunia is still battling Sifford for 4th, and Dakota Ehrman, that car is pretty torn up, but he's still riding in 6th, looking for 5th here. That car is in pretty good shape considering what it's been through tonight.
Yeah, he's got Blevins behind him, though. Blevins got a much better looking car than Ehrman, but Ehrman's still hanging on. And up ahead, LaPrade to the inside of Finlayson, trying to take away 2nd. Wasn't able to get it done. These guys are still going at it like we saw before the caution came out.
That bright purple Twitch car been all over the bumpers of several drivers tonight, and really, honestly, I think has the pace to be in 2nd place. And he's trying to get it away from 2nd place Michael Finlayson on the back straightaway.
Here he comes. Yep, here he comes. I think it takes him a few laps to get the tires warmed up, but here he is now. To the inside he goes. And you can see him hooked right on that yellow line. Trying to get the pass below it a little bit. Trying to get a run off of 4.
Woohoo! The 14 was playing with that wall. And, well, there's Liam Sheen a couple laps down back in 10th place. Only 1 lap down. And that 96 car got out of the way nicely and moved Briar LaPrade to 2nd. I don't think he's actually last time by only 2 thousandths slower than Daniel Roper. So that 19 car has some pace.
Yeah, if he can pick up the pace from here, he might be able to catch Roper, but again, that's if he can pick up and beat Roper's pace consistently. So that's going to be a tall order here, but we'll see if this 19 car can do it.
It was quicker last time by about 0.05 of a second, a 26.304 for Roper, a 26.264 for Laprade. So it's going to need to be a little bit more than that, and he's going to need to really pick up the pace as the race goes on. I think the other thing, it needs to go green. I don't think he's quick enough right on the restart to have anything for Roper, especially when he gets kind of displaced in the inside line, and everyone around him is, you know, has a better advantage on him as a jump start. So last time through was about a 10th slower, so lost all the progress he had gained. Okay, now I can do the math. Next time by 25 laps to go this time, as Laprade works his way off turn 2.
Sure?
No. Not sure. Look at these cars. A modified race going on back here.
Yeah, we're to the modified class at this point. Adams and Bresci fighting for position.
Remember, the reason why the 24 is like this is because of the 88 early in the going. Got into the fence out of turn 4, spun across the racetrack, and got into Thomas Bresci, which sent him into the inside wall. Roper last time, they were pretty even. Still the advantage to Roper, though, so I don't think Laprade's quite going to have the pace, but certainly giving him a valiant effort here. 1.0 seconds. The difference between the leader, Roper, and second place, Laprade.
South and Lacey take a good amount of the wall entering the corner.
That's how you know you're trying to maximize track in. Lap times again at the line.
Magunia hard into the wall.
Oh, hang on to it, buddy.
Wow. Almost gets hit. Bleevens almost hits him around, but Bleevens is going to work the outside of Magunia.
We got to take a look at that. That was awesome. Let's watch it from Bleevens' view. I think he'll get a pretty good view of this. Woo! Woo! Wow!
Yeah,
what a ride!
Bleevens almost went down low, thinking Magunia was going to go high, but Magunia turned it back down low. So they almost found each other in the middle of the track, but here they are now fighting into turn 1. Magunia still going to hold on to the outside, and Magunia actually still doing pretty well, even with a decent amount of right side damage.
And up for the lead here, Finian. Roper and Laprade have been, I mean, I know it's been a pretty consistent 1 second gap, but they've been trading blows lap times wise. 26.541 to a 26.598 that time by.
And actually, oh, I was going to say.
Well, they have been swapping speeds back and forth. Laprade, again, he's got to be quicker. He can't just match the speed. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get there running the exact same times, but it's the only time we've seen anyone be able to even match Roper tonight so far.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, it might be too little too late. I think, honestly, if Laprade probably started in second, he would have had a decent shot at Roper, but I think spent too much time getting around the 14 to Finlayson that he's lost too much time to the one of Roper. So, unless we got another caution, I don't really see Laprade getting another shot at this.
I don't even think a caution would be beneficial to him because it seems to take him a couple laps to get up to speed, and I think that would hurt him ultimately more than help him. So 20 laps to go at the line this time through, and Daniel Roper continues to lead. He's led most of the laps tonight, not all, but most. And out of turn 4, we'll pick up the 20 to go sign from the flag stand prior to Laprade. About a 10th slower that time as we follow the battle for 5th right now. Magunia, Bleevens, and Ehrman.
And these guys have been fighting with each other almost all race long, just at different points. But Magunia is still holding on to 5th at the moment ahead of Bleevens. But Bleevens not giving up just yet.
Out of turn 4. Looks like everyone's kind of settled in for now, and we only have 9 cars on the lead lap, and only looks like 12 cars running, so the chances for a yellow have diminished severely in the late stages of this race. And that's good news for Daniel Roper, as his lead is now up to 1.5 seconds. He's extended it over Briar Laprade, half a second the last 3 laps. So Roper on the move right now and beginning to stretch it out and showing his experience here. Quite the driver, and showing it here with 18 to go.
Yeah, I mean, what hasn't been said about his his performance this season? Has done an absolute phenomenal job behind that one Chevy, and has pretty much kicked everyone's butt here throughout the season.
Well, and you mentioned earlier about how there's one driver in every league that just seems to be way better than everybody else, and it's Roper in this series for sure. But we mentioned the Fuel Host Venom Cup Series starting up on February 12th, and Finian, that's going to have talent from all places. Yeah. Scott Eckrich running a full season this year in the number 70 Camaro. He won a couple races last year, not even full-time, so he's going to be really competitive. Greg Evans also running, Nick Cohan running again. I think that'll be one of the strongest fields we've seen. If Roper carries over to Fuel,
that's going to be a very...
That's going to be a good battle. And not to mention anybody from Outsiders that joins them as well, or vice versa. We could see some drivers from Fuel jumping Outsiders. At SimTV, we're trying to kind of cultivate a community that runs each other's races to kind of get the best talent from everywhere into one series. And I think Fuel is probably going to be one of the most competitive seasons we've ever seen. Over 80 drivers on the entry list for Daytona in a couple weeks.
Yeah, they're going to have to start sending drivers home, honestly, with the amount of entries they have. So
that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And I mean, they're going to have to be able to. These guys are going to. They're going to have to race into Daytona with the Daytona duels. So that's going to be fun to watch.
And they're also bringing back one of my favorite features from the beginning of last season that they never really finished through with was the last chance qualifier, where the last, I think, 8 spots or so are raced for if they have more than 40 drivers entered for the race. So that's a blast to watch, especially once we get to some of the short tracks, real short sprint races with 10 to 15 cars. That'll be amazing to watch. So big grids ready for the Fuel Cup Series. Sponsored by Host Venom here in a couple weeks. Obviously, Virtual Racing League continues with their chase tomorrow night, round 2, throwback night at Darlington. We literally bought today at Walmart. We literally bought fake mustaches. So you guys better watch that race tomorrow. It's going to be on iRacing Live. So that'll be a fun one. We'll have the green screen and the booth back in tomorrow night as well. Fun events there. And then obviously the rest of the weekend should be pretty quiet as we don't have anything on Sunday night now for a couple weeks until 3 Wide starts up in about a month and a half or so. Well, Roper has continued to extend his lead. Now he's still lapping about a 10th quicker per lap, and 2.2 seconds the difference between first and second.
He's brought up the gap to quite a bit again. Nothing really, can't really touch him. None of these guys can really touch him again. The only time they can really is if a caution comes out. That's the only time these guys are going to get close enough to him. But yeah, Roper again in his own zip code.
And we do have confirmation that Tony, or I almost said Tony Roper. Daniel Roper.
You think it's Tony showing?
Probably. I don't know why. But Daniel Roper will be coming over to Fuel. So again, Greg Evans, Nick Cohan,
it's going to be a
Roper.
Stacked field.
Imagine if Connor Horn comes there too.
Yeah, that will really be.
That's a pro race basically.
Yeah.
That's peak antifreeze level competition there. 12 laps to go here, now 11. Daniel Roper continues to lead, now up to 2.4 seconds over Briar LaPrade, Michael Finlayson, Tyler Sifford, and Corey Blevins worked his way inside the top 5 after starting the night back in 9th. So a good night for Blevins. Hasn't been perfect. He's spent some time sideways on the back straight, but has collected himself and is now running inside the top 5.
He's done a solid job collecting himself, so he's going to continue on. And pretty quiet at this point of the race. Everyone pretty spread out, and I think we're going to pretty much see a green to the end here in these final 10 laps.
About 4 minutes and 18 seconds left of racing if we continue at this pace. Daniel Roper now up 2.6. So that, again, I think really Roper's strength this year has been on the longer runs. I feel like he really excels there. He knows how to be fast and save his tires. I think it's just all about the smoothness, and we can't see a whole lot from riding on board. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's pull away the ticker here for a moment and just admire how smooth Roper is as a driver. Look at the lack of wheel input. I mean, that's just, it's like watching an artist paint.
Yeah.
It's just so perfect and smooth, and it's just incredible to watch. And that's why, I mean, lapping 0.3 of a second faster than the next fastest guy late in the
Oh,
he's in the wall! In the wall! No! I chased him! The SimTV curse strikes again, and Daniel Roper pounds the wall.
Yeah, he should be fine, but yeah, that was a pretty solid
lick
there.
I feel horrible. I feel horrible.
I was almost on cue. I don't think you could have got that any more perfect.
Oh, man, I hate myself for that.
LaPrade currently working through traffic, and yeah, just too far behind. So I think if Roper can make sure that he stays out of the wall, I think he probably is going to make sure that he does so. From this point forward, he should be able to run away with this.
I apologize for the actions that I have committed against Daniel Roper. I did not mean these things. He is a very good driver.
Oh, man,
that was we always joke that the SimTV curse takes people out.
It's an actual curse.
No, it's real. I'm 100% convinced. I'm not superstitious or anything, but that's fact right there. So I'm going to stop talking about it. Hey, let's go look at somebody else right now. Oh, Joshua Adams on pit lane. Interesting move here.
Not sure if it's an interesting move or if he ran out of fuel or something.
Well, they're 31 laps into a stint. I can't imagine that they'd be out now. But we would have seen stops a lot earlier than that if they were going to run out of fuel.
So Adams down on pit road. He's pretty much going to give up any positions that he had. Rusty, after the entire night he's been through, is back up into 8th place. So decent considering where he was about 100 laps ago. So
could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot better. I think he would have been good enough for podium had he not had the damage that he had. I think Joshua Adams is tired at this point in 10th place. Roper continues lead now. Still 2.2 lead. Still quicker than Briar LaPrade after all that. I'm going to stop looking at him and talking about him in case something happens again, so I can't take fault for it. Bleeven's up to 4th now. Dakota Ehrman in 5th. Tyler Sipper, did he fall back a couple spots? Whoa, yes.
Oh, and he's got a lot of damage to his car.
It's not driving very straight, looks like.
No, it's not. He's lost a lot of position. Was running in and around 4th place, I believe, and now has lost all of that, falling back to 7th.
He's down on power, too. Look at the 7 car pulling away on the straightaway.
Yeah, he was one of the few cars, I think, that didn't really have any damage, only some right side door damage. But yeah, that car, you can see it visually, it's just struggling to turn.
Yeah, and that's why Corey Bleevens had gotten around him for 4th. Dakota Ehrman up inside the top 5, and Begunia takes 6th away from Sifford. Oh, Brad must have had a slow lap. 7/10 off the pace, and some more right front damage to that car.
I think these guys are really starting to struggle for grip, as we've seen, but several drivers getting to the wall, so I think they're just kind of hoping that this ends out in a decent fashion.
I think the problem is that this default setup is really understeery.
Yeah,
and
it's very tight on the long run.
It tends to understeer later on the run, and it's really hard to gauge at Phoenix because the track is so flat. You think you can commit to the throttle, and you just can't. So a lot of people getting bitten by that late in the going. Liam Sheen's slow on the apron in turn 4. But white flag one more time around. Daniel Roper has led a huge portion of the laps here tonight. Almost all of them. Had a couple drivers not tried a 2-tire strategy, but that one car, he's very deserving of that on the side of his car, as he has led the most laps here tonight. And just like usual, Daniel Roper absolutely dominates here at ISM Raceway out of turn 4. Round 10 of the Race Hardline Midwest Powersource Cup Series goes to Daniel Roper. He's victorious here at ISM Raceway.
Yeah, and behind him out of turn 4, Briar LaPrade's going to come out across the line, finish in 2nd. Michael Finlayson, good run, is going to come home in 3rd. Corey Bleeven's 4th. Dakota Ehrman, after everything he's been through.
More, I think, at the end of the race there.
Yeah, it's going to come in 5th. Begunia come home in 6th. Kind of disappointing for him, as well as Sifford getting damaged late in the run. And Bresci and his Toronto machine's going to finish in 8th.
Well, not too bad considering how his night started in the fence on the pit straight. And he'll bring that car back to pit lane as we officially conclude 125 laps here of racing at ISM Raceway. Daniel Roper victorious here, and will celebrate with burnouts on the front straightaway. Deserving here tonight, not even close. His best lap was a 25.905.
The only driver to break below a 26, so solid run to him, and you can just see that this man has a lot more pace. So he's a really dominant driver, and after the chase reset, we'll see how he's going to be able to continue for the next 5 rounds.
The sun is setting here at ISM Raceway, but don't go away just yet. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with Roper and others for interviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live here to Sim TV, here with race winner Daniel Roper and the driver of the #1 car tonight. Just absolute dominance, and there was a couple points tonight when the lead got taken away by some guys trying some different strategy, but ultimately looked like your pace was second to none and just drove away off into the sunset here. A scary moment with a couple laps to go, hitting the wall, but still a great drive for you. Daniel, tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was a good race. A little upset that I hit the wall at the end there. Just loss of focus, I guess. My teammate said he got wrecked or something down the back straightaway. I was looking in the top left corner of my screen, waiting for that yellow flag to come up and ruin my race that way, and I just decided to drive in the fence and ruin it myself almost. But it was a good night. Had a lot of speed. Looking forward to the championship races coming up here.
And obviously the championship races, there's a lot on the line, but it seems like so far this season, you haven't had a ton of competition at some of these racetracks. So throughout the field, who are you looking at that might be the biggest competition and contestant in the chase races coming up?
I mean, I haven't seen Breyer all season, but he showed up tonight. He was pretty good times. He was able to get his laps together. Joshua Adams, I look at him. He's been pretty quick and been able to keep up with me over the short runs at most of these places. Bresci as well. Look at Richmond last week. So I feel like if the races go green flag long enough on the long run, I think my pace is good enough where I can get to the front. But on these short runs, it's kind of up in the air depending on when the cautions fly. All
right, Daniel. Well, obviously a fantastic race for you. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Next, we're going to talk to Michael Finlayson, driver of the I had the order all messed up, but it'll be the driver of the #14. Michael, quite a good race for you tonight, coming home P3. A little bit of damage on the front of that car, into the wall a couple times, but still a solid podium finish for you tonight. Walk us through your race tonight.
Yeah, we did catch the wall a few times. That kind of unfortunate, but just came in here. We returned to Hardline. Me and a few of my friends just have some fun tonight. Didn't expect to have to shift, but it was still a lot of fun. Yeah, I thought the bottom would be the quickest way around in 3 and 4 until I didn't realize it wasn't. And so I started running higher up, and on that last run, I pretty much just let Breyer by. I think I was holding him up most of the time, but fortunately he couldn't catch him. But still a lot of fun getting to battle a few guys for second during that race. And yeah, just got to thank Silton Crowder Racing for putting me out here, and New England Racing Fuel for being on the car.
Obviously, it was a pretty fantastic race, but tell us about the setup a little bit. We saw a lot of guys, actually, I think we went through the field at one point under yellow finian, and I think everyone had some kind of right side damage to their car. Was it the setup that did that, or was it the driving style? Was it the racetrack conditions? What was causing that understeer tonight?
I don't know. If a lot of cars had damage, that makes... I know Dan hit it with 30 to go, and he came over like, oh, I just hit the wall. Crap. I'm like, no, it's fine. It doesn't really affect you much. I mean, honestly, it didn't really affect you much after it. It just drove like it pushed a little bit, but it was manageable. It was definitely with shifting. I feel like if you got after 10 laps, the car had like a huge change, so people had to like adjust it, and some people just got caught off guard and maybe tied the wall or something like that. Not too sure about it, but I definitely thought shifting was a factor of it. It just made the car a little more pushy off the corners.
All right, Michael. Well, congratulations on a third-place finish, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Thanks for talking to us.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, and last but not least, tonight we'll be talking to Breyer LaPrade, driver of the #19 car. And Breyer, quite a great race for you tonight. P2 and some speed that we have not seen out of this 19 team so far this year. Absolutely phenomenal run. Just came up a little bit short. Tell us about your race tonight.
It was a nice, fun race. Phoenix has always been one of my best tracks. I enjoy it. It's the only tricky part about it is trying to figure out where your downshifting points are and being able to get back on the throttle without rising up into the wall. But other than that, I had a pretty fun race, fun racing. Tried catching Daniel there at the end, but he was just too good on the long run. Me and Michael had a few good battles there. Overall, good race.
Yeah, fantastic race indeed. And do you think if you had maybe had a late race caution and were able to play some strategy, do you think you could have held off the one of Daniel Roper?
Oh, yeah, I would have probably tried my best. I mean, Daniel dominated that whole race, so, I mean, it would have been tough to hold him off, but it would have been fun to try and, show what I got and try and hold him off, but who knows.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, Breyer. Congratulations on a solid second-place finish, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Thanks for talking to us.
No problem.
All right, and that will wrap up interviews here tonight, Finney. And let's take another look at the race recap. There are 6 cautions for 24 laps. Not the cleanest race in the world, but there was quite a few people that were a little bit upset. Also, we do want to go over one event. I believe it was lap 117. There was contact with the number 98 car. And I'm going to try to go back and grab what was going on. I believe it was the 98 car, lap 117. I'm going to just go here, and maybe we can... Oh, yeah, here it is. Let's take another look.
Yeah.
This is with the 98 and the 88 off into turn 3. Ooh. Retaliation from before is what that was. And we've seen this before. I mean, remember last time we were here at ISM Raceway, there was quite a bit of argy-bargy, and it included the 88 last time as well. So he's been run into a couple too many times, and I think there might have been more to this. Because remember the 98, well, maybe not. I thought the 98 had his front end ripped off, but nope. He's continued. Obviously, that ended his night, effectively putting him in 7th with the 88 pulled off the track, finished 11th. So then I think the 98 had the last lap in that. But there was obviously some big disagreements. I see the 88 pulling off the racetrack there. So some argy-bargy at the end of the race, and that is, as usual, here at ISM Raceway. Quite the dramatic finish to this one. But another great race here for the Hardline Midwest Powersource Cup Series. 125 laps, and of course, Dan DeRoper goes out on top once again.
Yeah, and again, just another dominating performance this season. I'm expecting a few more before the end of the season from that one car, so we'll keep an eye on him.
All right, next couple things on Sim TV tomorrow night. Virtual Racing League is at Darlington. It's throwback night. We literally bought fake mustaches for this one, so you guys better want to watch tomorrow night, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be on iRacing Live, so if you're on the iRacing homepage, it should pop up there at the bottom of your screen. Big yellow bar. Give it a click, and come on over and visit Virtual Racing League as they race at Darlington in round 2 of 5 in their chase. And then we're off on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. And
no, not Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday is the finale of the Midwest Porsche Cup, and that will be at Sebring. And we had an absolutely incredible race there last Tuesday at Road America. And actually, speaking of that, one of the drivers in that race on Tuesday, Tom O'Gorman, won today's Daytona Michelin Pilot Challenge race in the TCR class, the number 37 Honda Civic. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, also shout out to Kenton Cook as well, who competed in the GS class. Fortunately, finished below the grid. I believe they had a problem with their car. I wasn't able to keep track of that race because we were both of us because we were at school, so it was hard to keep track.
They had a cut tire, I believe, that was happening early in the race. But again, Kenton Cook and Tom O'Gorman actually had a run-in on Tuesday in the Porsche Cup race that ended with, I believe, O'Gorman and Cook retiring from the race. So they had some simulated issues. I think they got it all worked out on the racetrack. They were in different classes anyway, but still a really cool thing nonetheless. We'll see you tomorrow night, Virtual Racing League, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.